improv works best when the improvisers are listening and responding to each other rather than trying to come up with what's funny. So when we do scene work, we're really just trying to actively listen to what the other person says rather than planning the next line of dialogue. If we're planning what we're going to say to the other person, it sort of distracts us from listening to what the other person's saying. There's actually a quote that I really like by the author of 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And his quote is, most people do not listen with the intent of understanding. They listen with the intent of replying. So if you think about that, it's almost like as soon as we feel that we've heard enough information from the other person, our listening turns off and we go into that response mode. We start to think, okay, what am I gonna say? What am I gonna say? And in improv, again, I'll say if we're thinking too deeply about what we're gonna say, we're gonna miss the moment when our scene partner gave us that golden nugget of information that makes the scene that much easier. So the next exercise that I'm going to do is it's just going to be 2 people at a time. So I'll just have people raise their hand or put in the chat that they'd like to be first, whoever I see first. We'll do a few rounds of this. But the way this exercise works is it's just responding to what the other person said. I usually just call this exercise repeat what you heard, but it's a little bit more than that. It's more reiteration of what you've heard. So an example I like to give to explain how it works is if I come into a scene and say to my scene partner, it's a real sunny day out today. It's not that interesting of a line of dialogue. It's not the funniest line of dialogue, but all my scene partner needs to do, utilizing this exercise and listening, is repeat what I said and add a little bit of information. It's a real sunny day outside today. It is a sunny day outside today. We should go surfing. The other person listening back, I said it's sunny. He added surfing. I should comment on surfing using their line of dialogue. Surfing is a great idea. Oh, do you think the waves are going to be big? Not thinking, just using what the other person said. The last thing he said is waves, asking if the waves are going to be big. The waves are going to be huge, just reiterating, rephrasing the information. Almost similar to when someone asks, am I hearing this correctly? Am I hearing that you said X, Y, Z? This is taking that and just using the other person's words to further the conversation or the dialogue. Prior to getting started in this exercise, I'll also say that agreement or a yes and mentality will definitely help. In improv, the biggest thing that teachers will usually say is that you want to agree to the information and move forward as if that information is true. Usually agreement leads to figuring out what's going on faster. If I enter a scene and say that we're at the bank and you say we're not at the bank, we're at the grocery store, now we need to figure out where we are. Oh no, it just got difficult. Are we at the bank or the grocery store? I mean, you can justify the reality and there can be a bank at the grocery store, but then we're getting a little wild a little quickly. It's better to build from a place of reality, at least for improv purposes, before you blow the reality out of proportion. So just to reinstate, this exercise, one person is going to say any line of dialogue at all. The other person is going to respond by taking what they said, pretty much flipping it back around. It's sunny outside today. It is sunny outside today. And then adding their information. We'll bounce back and forth maybe 5, 7 times, and then I'll just call scene. But it's really just to double process what the other person said. Not only are you hearing them say it, you're repeating it back to them, and then they're once again agreeing to what was said by you and moving the information forward. So before we get started, are there any questions? Beautiful. Just by a show of hands, who would like to volunteer? All right, perfect. I see Karen and Angela up first. Can you each see each other?
Yes.
Perfect, awesome. So I'll give you a word to get started with, but then just any sentence. Karen, I'm going to have you say the first thing. Angela, you're going to repeat and respond, and then just back and forth. So, Karen, the suggestion to inspire your little conversation is campfire. Campfire.
This campfire is the best time I have ever had.
This campfire is the best I ever had. I'm toasting marshmallows and they're coming just perfect.
But the bear behind you at this campfire is coming at us.
I love it. Freeze for a moment. Karen, I love it so much because you just added so much excitement to the scene. Just make sure you add that little detail about the marshmallows that Angela said to you. So making sure that you heard what Angela said, and then definitely add that bear information. That's great. So Angela, I'm just gonna have you repeat your line of dialogue and move forward from there.
Campfire is great. I'm toasting marshmallows and they're coming perfect.
It's great, those marshmallows that you have, but I think the bear that's coming is gonna eat them.
The bear that's coming is gonna eat my marshmallows. Oh my gosh, I better run. There's food left out and he's gonna get that too.
Know something? Maybe we should both run to the other campfire where there's no bears.
Running to the other campfire where there's no bears. I don't think I can move. I'm too scared.
Awesome. Scene. So great. Yeah. Just taking those last little bits of dialogue and using it to push the conversation further. I love that as soon as you added the marshmallow and the bear together, the fear of the food getting eaten and the campfire having food in it, it starts to get painted for us. I mean, I feel that when a scene is working successfully, I see the two people in the environment. We know that that bear is coming, and we know that this campfire probably has the food everywhere. Like, I'm just imagining a picnic that they are not going to clean up in time. But excellent work. I'm going to have us run through a few more rounds of this and go a little bit longer. I might interrupt to just give a note to make sure you guys are listening back to each other. But do I have two more volunteers, just by a raise of hands? All right, I saw Michael and Shannon go up first. So Michael, you are gonna start, and Shannon, you will respond. The suggestion for you both to get started is going to be waiting room. Waiting room.
This waiting room in the doctor's office is taking too long.
Wow, this waiting room in the doctor's office is really taking a long time. I hope that the receptionist would return to the front desk and check on us.
I hope that the receptionist comes and checks on us before I eat my lunch.
Yeah, before you eat your lunch, it would be great if the doctor would come out. Maybe he's eating lunch.
Maybe the doctor is eating his lunch. Maybe we can eat lunch together.
Maybe the doctor's eating his lunch. And maybe the doctor's eating his lunch because that sandwich you're eating looks so awesome and he got the idea from you.
The doctor is eating his lunch and that sandwich got the idea from me.
Michael, I love where you're at. How do you feel about the doctor getting that idea from you?
I feel quite happy about that he got the idea from me.
I love it. I love it. Scene. Perfect. So right there, yeah, just that collaboration until you figure out what's going on. We have two people in a waiting room. In improv, we start to want to learn who, what, where. We had our location. We have two people waiting. We don't know what you're waiting for yet, but we know that if you have to wait any longer, lunch is happening. And that's enough information to continue your scene forward. And The thing I like about this exercise is it keeps the information so tight. A lot of times in improv scenes, as well as day-to-day conversations, we can just stack details on top of details on top of details. I like to make a list of what I need to do for the day. And I find if there's 50 things on the list, not even one's going to get done. It's too much. Too much is going on. It's too overwhelming. But by having a list of 3, 5 things that I need to do, one by one, I can check them off. And relating it to improv, we only had 1 or 2 things going on in both of these last scenes. We can slowly layer the details in. Maybe we find out why one of you is there. We can explore that for a little while, switch back and explore why the other person's there. But without adding crazy information, you have a nice scene that's just flowing, you're listening to each other, and the information is staying very tight. So we'll do a few more. Who else would like to volunteer?